In today's video, we are going to focus on a few different subjects. Superman tickets have gone on sale and we have received the final trailer for the movie. James Gunn talks about Thor's attempted inclusion in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And Chris Evans talks about not returning for Avengers Doomsday. All that and more in today's video. Before we get started today, if you are a fan of this channel or any of the other channels that fall under the Ekpire, we stream every Thursday over on X2. It's a lot of fun. I threw a link to the stream in the description below. Come join us if you're available tonight. So yesterday, Superman tickets officially went on sale, and in its first day, it has overtaken the record for most pre-sale tickets sold in 2025 from competing movie Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, do I think this is bad for Fantastic Four and great for Superman? Absolutely not. I think it's really great for both movies, especially if the quality of both movies end up delivering. With these two movies and the upcoming Jurassic World movie, this could potentially be the highest grossing July we've ever seen in cinematic history. Now, 2 years ago, we had the phenomenon that was Barbenheimer, which collectively earned $2.5 million. Now, it will be really difficult to ever recreate the hype that was Barbenheimer, but if we're talking about hype for these movies and people who will potentially go back to the theater 2 or 3 times to see both movies, I think the potential to match it is there. The difficult thing is that both of these movies cater to the same demographic, whereas Barbie and Oppenheimer catered to 2 completely different groups of people, many of whom probably didn't step foot in a movie theater after 2019. But I know people who haven't been interested in a superhero movie for years, telling me how hyped they are to see Superman, and many people I didn't expect were telling me that they were really looking forward to the Fantastic Four First Steps. I think with that movie, we're getting a lot more of the cautiously optimistic hype, because there's that idea that every Marvel movie after Endgame isn't worth watching. But I could see Superman really re-sparking interest in the superhero genre. I go to the movies all the time. The last time I've had trouble getting tickets for a movie was for Avengers Endgame, and I had the same frustration trying to get tickets to see Superman. If that doesn't speak to the interest that this movie has, I don't know what will. However, I wasn't expecting a surprise final trailer drop for the movie when tickets went on sale. We didn't get many new plot details for the movie, we just kind of got expansions on what we already knew about. I do hope that this is the end of any new footage that comes out before the movie releases though. As cool as seeing some of this stuff was, especially this shot specifically, I unfortunately can't show the actual footage, I can just show the still frames because WB will claim the video, but it looks incredible. I would have rather seen it up on the big screen when I was watching the movie. And that's something I was really praising Superman for up until the last couple of weeks. All of the marketing had a lot of restraint with not showing us everything that we've wanted to see. But now I think we're at that point right before the movie releases where they're just trying to show us anything else that will get whoever wasn't 100% on the movie on board in time to buy tickets. But of course, we have that really annoying group of people who are determined to hate this movie no matter what, complaining that this cinematographer sucks and that the CG looks wonky when you freeze frame it. And I feel like I've said this a million times already. CGI that's in motion when you freeze frame it is gonna look wonky 99% of the time, especially when you zoom in on the image and start dissecting all of the intricacies. You are probably not gonna notice it when you're watching the full movie and this shows up on the big screen. But also, I just don't think it looks as bad as some people are suggesting. Between film Twitter and Zack Snyder fans, the online discourse revolving around Superman is always going to be super annoying. But let's shift focus to talk about the director of Superman, James Gunn. He and the cast of Superman were involved in a cover shoot for Entertainment Weekly, and in an interview with him, he discussed some of the issues he had while making Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, I found it really funny that I was talking about this in my last video, just to see he made a statement about it the next day. The statement was regarding around his DC universe, including post-credit scenes for future movies. And he said, "I have a philosophy about post-credit scenes. It's somewhat related to my own mistakes in my time with Marvel." This was related to the idea that the post-credit scenes in DC movies won't be extended teases for future things to come. I did not like what I did in Guardians 2, where we set up Adam Warlock and we set up the Guardians of the Galaxy and we set up all this shit that I didn't necessarily plan on. Well, I guess I kind of planned on fulfilling the Adam Warlock promise, but you want to be careful about that. The way a post-credit scene works is a punch to the face, like, oh my god, look at this. At times when you're using it just solely to set something up, sometimes you're screwing yourself over. So he's really trying to make an effort not to do that to other filmmakers or himself in the future with these DC post-credit scenes. And I feel like not doing that to other people is a big part of what he wants to do with DC. As I mentioned, he talked about Thor joining the Guardians at the conclusion of Endgame. I said in the script notes, I'm not going to put him in. I don't want to have Thor in the Guardians. I don't want to do a movie with Thor. I don't understand the character that much. I love watching his movies, and I love Chris Hemsworth as a guy. I don't understand how to write that character. And that's fair. Infinity War and Endgame did throw James Gunn a few curveballs for what he had to do in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think he worked with what he had very well, but I respect that he talked about his own faults with setting things up and just kind of addressing the problem in general, rather than making it an issue of him versus Marvel. Speaking of Marvel, Chris Evans is currently on the press tour for his upcoming movie Materialists, which co-stars Reed Richards himself, Pedro Pascal. A couple days ago, Chris Evans was talking about how he's sad he's no longer a star in the Marvel Universe. Last year, we saw him cameo as his variant of Human Torch from 2005's Fantastic Four, but in this interview, he confirmed that he is happily retired from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, kind of flying in the face of all of the rumors that he would appear in Avengers Doomsday. Now, I'm happy to hear this because I was really relieved to see how they wrapped up Steve Rogers' story in the MCU. I love the idea of him getting to live a happy, normal life, and later on in life being able to pass the shield on to somebody he trusted like Sam Wilson. While I wasn't a fan of Captain America Brave New World, I really do like Sam Wilson as Captain America. And I think with Robert Downey Jr.'s return as Victor Von Doom in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think there was a bit of an expectation from Marvel fans that Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson were definitely going to show up as evil variants of Black Widow and Captain America. Now, what I've said before is I think there is an opportunity to bring Chris Evans back, but you'd have to wait at least 10 years after the conclusion of Endgame. And I think the idea would be to do an adaptation of Secret Empire, where he is the antagonist of the movie, but it wouldn't result in him returning to the Captain America mantle. I think there's an interesting story to tell with the concept of Steve Rogers returning to Captain America and Sam Wilson kind of being a little lost and confused on what to do from there. He's spent years proving himself as a worthy successor to the mantle, but when the original returns, how does everybody react? That's going to do it for today's video though. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we are going to be streaming tonight over on X2. There's a link to that in the description below and probably a prompt on screen right now. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.